last night. Joining us now with analysis is Congressman Pete Sessions. Congressman, good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, and good morning to Denver, too.
Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. It's a bit chilly, but it is a good morning. So I'm curious to get your perspective on last night's special election. What do you think it prescribes for the midterms? Because let's just be honest, that's the big pot. That's what we're all looking forward to.
Well, in fact, that is the prize that we need to be focused on, and we're now just less than a year away from that. But the occurrences or the success of this timing of this race was directly after the holidays. It was one in which I think that there are mixed messages going on, not just in Washington, but around the country. I was pleased with the victory. I'll be quite blunt, to win by 9 points, even though perhaps Donald Trump won by 22. You have to see that this is a victory for not only the president, but a victory for Republicans in the House. The matchup that we will have all across this country, every single congressional race, will be about a series of items that I believe are in Republicans' advantage. First of all, we have to deal with the debt issue, and Democrats are simply still on record of wanting to spend more money. Secondly, we want government employees to come back to work. They want government employees to continue staying at home, drawing benefits and a paycheck. We've got to make sure that we sell these two items. Number three, healthcare. Republicans have a better plan, which I believe we're going to get to. And that is, we're going to make sure that the some 120 million people who are self-employed, perhaps real estate agents, perhaps small business owners, will have a better shot at buying not only health care, but affording it. These plans are materializing right before our eyes. We do have to deliver this to make sure that we are talking about health care. And lastly, the success of this nation to keep us safe. And all these quadrants, all these issues are on the Republican side. So I'm really not worried about winning next year. I'm worried about our performance to sell to the American people, just like our candidate in Tennessee did. We have better ideas to make America safe, and for people just like you in Tennessee.
Well, like they say, one goes to Washington, D.C., and one goes home. So winning is still winning, even if the margin could have been bigger. Congressman, turning now to the fallout from the tragic National Guard shooting last week. In response to the shooting, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt announced the Trump administration is actively re-examining all Afghan nationals who were let into the country under Biden's watch. Is this the start of a greater push for new immigration policy, in your opinion?
No, I think that Secretary Rubio really used words that I agree with. I watched him yesterday, and I've been using these words also. I think this was a question about people who came to this country who absolutely opposed the Taliban, and that's why they worked with our intel and military people in Afghanistan. They came here for a new life. But that also, a part of that is the American dream. And the American dream is a struggle. The American dream is achievable, and it is successful. And it brings out the better part of individuals and families to know that they're in the greatest country in the world. But it does not mean instant success. And over these past few years, I think that these people were allowed to come to this country, given a green light, given what they would need. But I don't know what the follow-up is to make sure that their viewpoint of their success, they're becoming a part of where they are, is successful. It is not unusual for Somalia people to go to where Somalia people are. It is not an uncomfortable circumstance to think that Afghans would go where more people who are like them from Afghanistan. They are becoming radicalized in this country. And we need to pay attention to that. We need to make sure that we have an idea of those conditions. And I think that there's been a rush to go and get people who are in this country illegally out rather than to focus off people who did come, who we need to pay attention to. So I'm proud of not just the president, Marco Rubio, but I'm proud to say we've got to go back and relook at this, but we've got to stop the movement that they were allowed to have with the green cards or immigration to this country. So I think it's the right thing to halt it.
Yeah, an investigation certainly needs to continue into this, Congressman. We also want to get your reaction to President Trump's recent comments on paper ballots. In a Truth Social post, the president said, "Great news. Dallas County, Texas just went to all paper ballots. Many others are following suit, more accurate, totally secure with watermark paper, faster, and only 9% of the cost. All Republican governors should mandatorily do this, save money and freedom, lead the Democrats out of their corrupt ways." President DJT. I know President Trump's a great businessman, but I am sold. I mean, this sounds like it's a better option for all states across America, Congressman.
Well, the good part is that Republicans began seeing not just the things that we disagreed with during COVID and during what might be called 2018, but we have seen a continued reliance by the Democratic Party off voter rolls of hundreds of and thousands of people who had died. We still have what's called the motor voter law that is in place that keeps millions of people on these rolls. This was when Bill Clinton was president. We've got to go to every ballot is assured of who it came from and what it is for. And the integrity of the ballot system deals with people's desire to want to come vote. So I applaud the president for doing what he's doing. Good ideas is what the Republican Party is about, and the integrity of the ballot box is critical for people to want to believe that their vote matters.
Congressman, 20 seconds. I just want to pop this in there. What's happening on the outstanding appropriation bills? And are you expecting that there will be government funding before the January 30th deadline, or are we going to be back up against the shutdown?
Well, we're up against the shutdown, and I think that people, Republican leaders understand this, and that's why we're working fervently. Next, we have to message what the answer is. Expect us to do it.
All right. Your lips to God's ears. We hope it does happen. Thanks so much, Congressman. Always good to see you. Congressman.